Hi folks, here's our weekly update for English 560, Shakespeare's plays, for the week of September 21st. This week we'll be talking about King Henry V. It's a sequel of sorts to Richard II. Henry V was the son of Bolingbroke, so we're getting the chance to see some of the consequences of Bolingbroke's successful revolution. We're skipping over the two plays that Shakespeare wrote about Bolingbroke's monarchy, Henry IV Parts 1 and 2. In a way that's a shame. Henry IV Part 1 especially is one of my favorite plays, but we can't read everything Shakespeare wrote. Can we? As usual, I'll ask you to complete the online quiz and post your initial response blogs by Tuesday, the 22nd. That way we'll be able to get started on our conversations. And of course we can always continue our conversations about A Midsummer Night's Dream and Richard II as well. No need to finish those just because we're moving on. For this time around, though, I would like to try something a little different. King Henry has a number of very, very powerful speeches in this play, and I'd like a chance to talk a little bit about the role soliloquies and monologues are playing in Shakespeare's dramaturgy at this point in his career. So here's what I'm going to ask you to do. Pick one long speech, I don't care which one, monologue or soliloquy. It doesn't even have to be one of Henry's if something else catches your eye, but pick one longish passage and record yourself reading it aloud, and then post that recording to the forum on our site. Your response blog can be an analysis of that speech, why did you choose it, what's interesting about it, and so on. Or it can be about an entirely different subject, whatever you prefer. But I would like to hear you reading. Message me if you need some help in making that recording or posting it to our site. I think this will be kind of fun. There are two themes I'm particularly interested in exploring as we talk about this play. One is the idea of family. Shakespeare probably completed Henry V in 1599, maybe 1600. Shakespeare's son Hamnet had passed away, probably from plague, though we don't know for sure, back in 1596. William had probably been away, working in London, for as much as half of the boy's life. Also in 1596, a month or two after Hamnet's death, the playwright's father, John, was finally granted the coat of arms that he had first applied for more than 25 years earlier. It's almost certain that it was William's money that shook loose the official approval for that coat of arms. But the timing is interesting, isn't it? So in 1596, William loses his son and arranges for his father to receive the coat of arms, identifying him as a member of the gentry. A couple of years later, he's writing this play that, I think, is deeply interested in the legacies of fathers and the responsibilities of sons. Another theme that we'll find useful for Henry V, building on what we've been seeing in Richard II, is the question of leadership and identity. Richard was a terrible king, in part because he believed that God had put him in that role, and so he has nothing to prove and can expect absolute obedience from everyone who serves him. Bolingbroke's rebellion proves that the truth is a bit more complicated than that. Now, in Henry V, the new king has to wrestle with that complicated legacy. If he can't rely on God's authority to justify his authority, what can he use? And where does a king's final responsibility lie? Is he answerable to God? To his elite ruling class? To his people? Watch how this king wrestles with these kinds of problems. And I'll be very interested in seeing what you think of the choices that he makes.